Kia ora, Matapelo here with your national weather forecast. Well, having a look at what we've seen today so far up in the North Island this morning, bit of a heavy band of rain that moved through for the rest of the day, mostly just partly cloudy conditions. The other area that's seen some rain has been down here in the far south of the South Island. But for the rest of today, it will be all about this low approaching from the west, moving across the North Island overnight into Saturday. So that'll be bringing some rainfall with it, and we'll get a bit more into that later. Down here in the far south, this front also continues to move up, so a little bit of showers and some patchy rain moving up the South Island for the rest of today. Then looking ahead into that overnight period, as I mentioned, that approaching low bringing a lot of rainfall with it. We see a lot of blue color over here indicating quite wet weather that is on the way. So that'll be spreading across the island throughout the day. For the South Island, it is a continuation of those cloudy conditions, maybe even some patchy drizzle out in the east. So with that rainfall that we're expecting, we do have a couple of rain watches in place, and that is for this whole upper portion all the way out, including the Bay of Plenty as well as Taupo. So for more of those details, do keep an eye on metservice.com. So having a look at the temperatures that are expected overnight, down here in the South Island, another chilly night expected, only about 6 degrees down in Invercargill, and very similar temperatures in the single digits out in the east. For the North Island, we are still in the double digits, so a nice chilly night ahead. So now we take a look at the weather expected for Saturday. In general, we are expecting that low to move across. Plenty of wet weather to talk about in the north, but in the south, things are mostly cloudy inland and in this eastern area. So let's have a look at the North Island first. That low moves across very wet weather. We saw those heavy rain watches, so do keep an eye on that. It also starts to feed in some wet weather down this eastern coastline. So Hawke's Bay, we're expecting some scattered showers. It might even get into the Wairarapa, not as heavy as we're expecting in other parts. It will mostly be about that northern area. With that heavy rain in the northern North Island, it could bring some localized downpours. So isolated areas could see quite heavy rain as well as possible thunderstorms. So Saturday, definitely a good day to keep an eye on that forecast. Down in the South Island, again, another cloudy start to the day in that east and the inner parts of the South Island. Little bit of patchy drizzle in the morning, but it does look to clear up in those inland and eastern areas. But down here in the far south, bit of a cloudy day expected, and by the end of the day, we do start to see these showers starting to move through. So let's have a look at those temperatures for tomorrow. We are very average for this time of year. Temperatures in the upper teens and mid and lower 20s. Out in Auckland, 21 degrees expected. And in the east, maybe a little bit cooler, around 18 degrees. For the capital, 17 in Wellington. Then in the South Island, a little bit cooler, especially down here in the far south. Invercargill, only 13 degrees. Out in Queenstown, 16. In the east, things also remaining cool in the mid-teens, and very similar out in the western areas. So if we have a look out towards the end of the weekend, by Sunday, that low pressure has moved off the country, meaning that things do clear up a lot compared to on Saturday. Maybe still some showery conditions in inland areas, but a far drier story than what we'll see on Saturday. But here in the southern parts of the South Island, we've got a new frontal feature approaching by the end of Sunday. So another wet day, but for the rest of the day on Sunday, a lot finer conditions. Then into Monday, we see that feature continuing to move up. It weakens as it moves northward. So for the North Island, not as much rain as we'll see in the far south, maybe just a few showers as it passes through. By the end of the day, some renewed cloudy conditions over the South Island, but things a lot finer and brighter for the North Island. Well, that's all I have for you for today. Matewa.